Welcome to the OA Amazing Recovery Passport to Unity podcast series. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ginny, and I'm your moderator today. I will open with the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Tradition 1 reminds us our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon OA unity. This podcast is part of a series of podcasts taken from the WSBC 2017 Forum, OA Amazing Recovery, Passport to Unity. Please join us on a journey of unity. Imagine the following. You are traveling and find yourself needing a good dose of recovery and OA fellowship. You slide into an empty seat as the meeting begins. Right away, you notice something different. Your favorite reading isn't included at all. The leader is speaking very quickly, which isn't helping your serenity. Uncomfortable, you try to settle in and hear the speaker, only to discover that she isn't exactly speaking your language in more ways than one. You really need this meeting. At that moment, you remember something your sponsor once said. Identify, don't compare. You decide to stay and listen, setting aside any differences between yourself and the speaker to look for common ground and unity. This podcast is your passport to unity. Today you will have an opportunity to hear two different stories of diversity. As you listen to these members sharing, see if you can answer the questions they ask. Would you get a stamp on your Unity passport? OA offers literature about unity which includes a common solution, diversity, and recovery. To stay in harmony with traditions 6 and 10, we ask the speakers mention only OA-approved literature. Those speaking are being recorded. It is considered implied consent to have your voice and your share recorded and posted on the OA website podcast page, as well as other podcast feeds. To preserve anonymity, speakers will use only their first name or a fictitious name. Today's speakers will address topics around unity. They will present a different perspective of recovery, and each speaker will provide 1 or 2 questions along with their topic that could be used as a writing exercise for discussion or meditation.
This Passport to Unity segment addresses English as a second language. I would like to introduce David, who will be qualifying and then sharing on this unity topic for 15 minutes. The speaker will also give questions for discussion or future consideration at the end. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Francine. My name is David. I'm a compulsive overeater from Israel, grateful for my abstinence today. I came to OA in September 2003. I have been mostly abstinent since 2009 and with back-to-back abstinence since 2013. I am maintaining a 45-kilogram weight loss for over 5 years, which is approximately 100 pounds in the US and 7 stone in the UK. And I now maintain a normal and healthy body weight. I would like to explain that the share that I'm about to share with you was originally used or shared at the World Service Business Conference in 2017, and it was specifically tailored for that event. A small group of people sitting around the table with one eye watching the clock as we go. Eli, תן בי את השלווה, לקבל את הדברים שאין ביכולתי לשנותם. האומץ לשנות קשה ביכולתי, והתבונה להבחין בין השניים. That was the Serenity Prayer in Hebrew. Shalom, Shmi David, ואני אכלן יתר כפייתי. Hello, my name is David, and I am a compulsive overeater. אני אסיר תודה על עוד יום אחד של הימנעות, אשר מצטרף לימים רבים שקדמו לו. I'm very grateful for one more day of abstinence that joined many other days which came before it. אני קצת מתרגש, והאנגלית שלי לא כל כך טוב, אז אני מבקש את סליחתכם מראש על הטעויות שלי. I'm a little bit nervous, and my English is not that good, so I kindly ask your forgiveness if I make mistakes. הגעתי לאורי לפני 13 שנה וחצי, ואחרי שנים של אכילה לא מרוסנת וגידול קרס. I came to OA 13.5 years ago after many years of constant eating and tummy growing. ידעתי שרציתי להפסיק לאכול באופן כפייתי, וחשבתי שאני יכול לבד. אבל יום אחד הגעתי למסקנה שאני לא יכול להפסיק לבד. I knew that I wanted to stop compulsive eating, and I knew that I couldn't do it myself. Well, I thought I could do it myself. But one day I reached the realization I just could not do it myself. למרות שניסיתי, פשוט לא יכולתי. אז הלכתי לרופא. Even though I tried, I just couldn't do it. So I went to my doctor. בדיקות הדם שעשיתי לא היו טובות. אז הרופא רשם לי כדורים להפחית את ספיגת השומן על ידי הכבד. My blood test results weren't very good, so the doctor prescribed for me some special medication to reduce the amount of fat that the liver absorbs. למרות שהכדורים עזרו לי לרדת במשקל, ידעתי כי לא יכולתי להמשיך לקחת אותם לאורך זמן, כי הם פגעו לי במערכת העיכול וגם בכיס. Even though these pills helped me lose some weight, I knew I could not take them for any long period of time, as they were causing damage to my digestive system and to my pocket. ידעתי כי אני זקוק לפתרון שיפחית את השומן והסוכר ושנכנס לפה, הרבה לפני שיגיע לכבד. ונזכרתי באורי. I knew I needed a solution that will reduce the amount of fat and sugar that goes into my mouth, and well before it reaches my liver. And then I remembered OA. התאהבתי באורי מהרגע הראשון. זו הייתה אהבה מבט ראשון. I fell in love with OA from the very first sight. It was love at first sight. מעולם לא עשיתי דיאטות, כי ידעתי, כי אני לא הייתי מוכן לעשות מה שאחרים אומרים לי. I never did any diets before OA, because I knew that I wasn't willing to do anything that someone else told me to do. ידעתי, כי לא הייתי מוכן שאדם אחר ירוויח כסף על חשבון המחלה שלי. I knew that I wasn't willing for anybody else to make money on my disease. ידעתי שאני זקוק לפתרון לטווח הארוך. And I knew I needed a long-term solution. את כל זה והרבה יותר מצאתי ב-OA. All that and much more I found in OA. מצאתי קבלה, תקווה, ובעיקר אמפתיה. הנה יש אנשים שיודעים בדיוק על מה אני עובר. I found acceptance, hope, and mainly empathy. Here were people that knew exactly what I was going through. לפעמים אני מדבר עם שגיאות בעברית, ורק לעתים רחוקות מתקנים אותי. בדרך כלל זה מתבצע על ידי מישהו חדש. Sometimes when I speak in Hebrew, I speak with mistakes. But only very rarely do people correct my mistakes. And that's usually by somebody new in the program. בכל אופן, לקחתי מאמנת, קניתי ספרות בעברית, והתחלתי לעבוד את הצעדים. In any case, I found a sponsor. I bought literature in Hebrew, because that was what was available, and I began to work the steps. הספרות העברית הייתה זמינה בפגישה שלי. זו הייתה שפת האם של המאמנת שלי. The Hebrew literature was available freely in our meetings, and that was the language of my sponsor. עברו שנים רבות עד שקניתי את הספר OA הראשון שלי באנגלית, וזה היה לעזור לי בציטוטים של המסורות. באותה תקופה העברתי סדנה של המסורות לחדשים בחוות האינטרנט של האחרונים כפייתים. It took me many, many years before I bought my first OA book in English. And even then, it was only because I needed to have some actual quotes in English from the traditions. At the time, I was leading a workshop for traditions for newcomers in an internet online fellowship for compulsive eaters. בחזרה לסיפור שלי, עד היום אני מרגיש קרבה מיוחדת לספרות התוכנית בעברית. זו השפה שלמדתי את התוכנית. Back to my story, until today I feel a special closeness to the Hebrew literature of the program. It was the language which I learned in the program, which I found out about OA. ידיעת השפה האנגלית נותן לי כלי נוסף לעזור לחברי OA אחרים בבית, פה בישראל. Knowing English as well gives me an extra tool that I can help OA members here in Israel. לפעמים יש מונחים מתורגמים בספרות העברית ומבקשים פירוש נוסף של המקור באנגלית, על מנת להבין טוב יותר את הציטוט. Sometimes there are terms that have been translated into the Hebrew literature, and I'm asked for another meaning. What else could it possibly mean from the original English, so that they can better understand the quote and the Hebrew translated literature? המסע שלי ארוך יותר ומלא סיפורים מעניינים, בדיוק כמו שלכם, אבל אין מספיק זמן היום. My journey is much longer and full of other interesting stories, as well as I'm sure yours is as well. I just do not have enough time today. אשמח לענות על שאלות, מקווה שימצא דרך שחברי OA יצרו איתי קשר אחרי ההפרטה הזאת. תפנו אליי, אל תתביישו. I will be happy to answer any questions. I hope there will be a way afterwards for OA members listening to this podcast to get in touch with me. Please don't be afraid. Try and get in touch with me. I'll be happy to be in touch with you as well. תודה על ההזדמנות לתת שירות. Thank you for the opportunity to give service. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thanks for sharing your experience, strength, and hope about unity. And we thank all of you listening for joining us today as we explored passports to unity. I would like to introduce Eva, who will be qualifying and then sharing on the unique topic of young people. She will also give 2 questions for discussion or for future consideration at the end. Eva, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Eva. I'm a compulsive overeater and bulimic from Poland. I'm very grateful to be able to share with you my story. So at the beginning, I would like to qualify a bit and share my story. So my first memory connected with food is when I was around 6 years old and I was feeling sweets, eating them in secret. And I remember that I was feeling very guilty and shamed because of the fact that I had this craving for food, for sugar. And I remember I hid all the empty packages under the washing machine, and I thought that no one would ever find it because this dishwasher is always at the same place, and my evidence of crime will be hidden forever. But yes, in my family there was a huge pressure putting on the food, and later when my mother went to work on regular basis, my food problem increased. All received money I spent on sweets, and sometimes I even stole some pennies from my father's pocket. I always ate in secret, usually when I came back from school in the front of television. Then I used to eat a big dinner prepared by my parents to pretend that I'm a normal child and everything is fine, because in my family we were pretending that everything is fine. The image of the family was the most important thing, and we were all trying to protect this image because the reality wasn't that important. The image was definitely more important. So I had eaten that way many years, but slowly I started to replace those dinner with sweets only, and I was gaining weight. My parents tried to motivate me to lose it. So I had visited, when I was at age 15, obesity treatment center. But of course it didn't change anything. So when I was in my 20s, I weighed more than 100 kilos, although I don't know exactly how much it was because I was afraid to face the truth and check my weight on the scale. So I finally decided to do something with my obesity, and I started taking dieting pills, analog of amphetamine, and get addicted from it, and I lost a lot of weight. It was 40 kilos in 4 months, eating only 700 calories with all the side effects like aggression and anxiety, dizziness, and everything. And my binge eating disorder turned into bulimia. Because I was studying medicine, my father was a physician. I was prescribing myself pills for diabetes, inhibitors of the intestine absorption of lipids. I also took pills for depression because I was trying to stop thinking about food. And I was trying all different ways to stop thinking about it. I was also exercising very compulsively, so I could swim for 3 hours every day and then go jogging. So it was a lot of pain in my life back then. And in 2010 I got stuck in bed for 6 months because of my lower back pain, and at that time I received balanced meals prepared by my mother, and my weight was the lowest I can recall in my life. And I realized that when I eat normally every day the same amount of food, I have a healthy body weight, and my brain is thinking in a different way. I have some kind of different thinking patterns. But of course, when I get up from this bed, when I was able to walk again, I started eating more and more and putting on weight. In the meantime, I started therapy, and I told that I have some kind of unnatural relation to food. But I started to look for help, and that's how I found a way. And at the beginning, it was very difficult for me as a young person, because I was always focused on differences, not what we have in common. And I was very guilty and ashamed of all my addictive behaviors. I was looking for approval, and it was very hard for me to find unity with members who are older than me. And I have this one of my biggest fears in life is my fear of being punished for my disobedience. So I was pleasing people around me. I was using very, very sophisticated cope mechanism, trying to avoid the truth about myself, that I'm actually the same like other members. So I found a way 5 years ago, and almost from the beginning, I started my abstinence, and my life changed tremendously. I've started to learn that for my life, and we all have one solution.
Well, hang on one second. You kind of cut out there a bit. Can you repeat your last sentence, please?
Yes. I don't remember my last sentence, but okay.
That's okay. That's okay. Just go ahead. Go ahead.
I will say something. Okay, so having principles before personalities was something I struggled all my life, and I've started to focus on similarities instead of differences, and I accept the fact that this is the program for, and I see here. And it improves my relationships with people. It improves my my view and my body image. I accepted the fact that my body is me. I'm not only my body, but my body is a part of me, and it has radically changed. I'm more at peace with my weight and how I look. I enjoyed food like never before. Right now, my food is something what makes me happy, what makes me alive. It's no longer painful experience to eat. I no longer use sports to harm myself, and my relationships with people are completely different. And what unity means for me, unity in terms, when I think about myself, it's healthy connection among my body, soul, and spirit. So I feel this unity, integrity of myself, and when I'm in integrity with myself, I can be united with all universe. And I would like to share also that it's a wonderful experience when you are sharing about your problem, when you think that you are so unique, and suddenly you find people who can relate to your experience, and you feel that you are no longer alone, and those people share your struggles, and they are real, and you can open up bit by bit. You can talk about your feelings and troubles with eating, with almost everything. So it's incredibly challenging, but also giving up control and feeling that you I no longer have to be in control of everything, of the group, of my feelings, of my life. It's a huge relief, and I know that every person in a way is unique, and we have very different experience, and we are looking for different angles, but it gives me variety, and as our slogan says, united we stand, divided we fall. So I try to embrace similarities and love the differences in all our affairs. And it's wonderful that together we can, and I would like to thank everyone who shared experience with me, because I could give up my ambitions, and I can recover thanks to OA, and it's a wonderful feeling because my life is back now. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you for joining us today as we explored Passports to Unity. Thanks to our wonderful speaker, Eva, for sharing her experience, strength, and hope about unity. Thanks, Eva. Did you have some questions to share with us?
Yeah, I do. I would like to ask you, if you are not a young person in OA, how do you relate to my experience? And how does variety in OA strengthens your recovery? Thank you.
Traveling shows us that even though we may work a program in different ways or have different needs, we all have something in common and can learn from each other. Of course, the journey doesn't stop today. We hope you return when other podcasts are ready for you, with more opportunities to seek understanding and unity in diversity. Unity with Diversity Statement. As we extend the heart and hand of the OA Fellowship to those who still suffer, let us be mindful of OA's Unity with Diversity policy, which respects our differences yet unites us in the solution to our common problem. Whatever problem you may have with food, you are welcome at a meeting, regardless of race, creed, nationality, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation, or any other trait. The opinions expressed here today are those of individual OA members and do not represent OA as a whole. Seventh tradition. Please remember that we are self-supporting through our own contributions. Please use special workshop meeting number 82278 when making your contribution. The World Service Office needs our support to continue to serve our fellowship. Go to www.oa.org and click on Contributions. Thank you for helping us carry the message. Additional topics for Amazing Recovery, Passport to Unity, will be on the OA website, oa.org, as part of this series. I will close this session with the OA promise. I put my hand in yours, and together we can do what we could never do alone. No longer is there a sense of hopelessness. No longer must we each depend upon our own unsteady willpower. We are all together now, reaching out our hands for power and strength greater than ours. And as we join hands, we find love and understanding beyond our wildest dreams.